Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Emerald Coast. Just over here getting some diesel in the Ram. We're going to head down to the BGA. Got a little work we need to do down there this morning. And I wanted to show you guys some new equipment that we actually got in down there. The German guys that are running the facility insisted that I buy this thing called a Holmer. Variant. Very, I don't know, some big thing. Some type of tractor truck hybrid thing. Had it shipped over. Cost me quite a fortune to do that, but they insisted that is what we needed in order to properly apply the digestate byproduct to our fields here in the county. Well, not having any clue what was going on, I was like, okay, well, all right, we'll do that. Daryl's over here cultivating in our slurry. Getting everything ready for harvest. I don't know what that guy's problem was, why he was honking the horn. See that we have been fast approaching winter. Trees are changing quite well. Starting to get a little cool. The Emerald Coast is downright frigid. I think we set up a pretty cool operation here at the BGA. I just wanted to show it to you guys. If you look in the shed there, you can see we've got a few more acquisitions. There's that well, we're just going to call it the Holmer. There's that Holmer thing. And then, well, we can't see it anymore. Let's back up a little bit. And we got ourselves a Krone forage harvester. The big old header, so we'll definitely be ready to rock and roll next year. I think I'm gonna park this over here, kind of out of the way. Got our Lost tractor down here to help with the efforts. We also went ahead and got another wagon for our BGA operations. And what we found that works really, really good is to use this belt back here to load up our wagon. And then basically we're going to take and back it up on our ramp and dump it in. This particular digester takes 120,000 metric liters, I think. Some weird measurement. Basically 120,000 units of some sort. We're going to be able to put about three and a half loads of this in here. Of course, each one of these loads is about 51,000 cubic liters, but the machine processes it at such a rate. We're going to be able to dump about 150,000 units in, or a little more, before it completely maxes out on capacity. Got that load. And this belt works wonders. Helps us load this thing up really quick. So we're able to process I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times as much as we would if we were using the silage fork alone to load our trailer. Go. I think maybe the engine cut off on this belt. Does that from time to time. Go here and give it a good kick. There we go. Sometimes it just needs a good kick in the pants. We surely can tell we have a sorry about that, guys. Surely we can tell we've got a heavy load here. Especially backing it up this steep ramp. A little crooked on the ramp there. So we should have about one more load, and then we're actually going to take the the Holmer. Call it the Holmer. We're going to take the Holmer out and put a little digestate on those new fields that we bought recently. They don't have any fertilizer or anything on them from last harvest. Let me just go ahead and get a good layer of digestate on there. We're going to put wheat in both of those fields. Like one had cotton on it 2 years ago, and both had soybeans on them last year. So we're going to put wheat on those, which is going to be great. We're going to use the straw for our cattle operation, and we're going to use the wheat just as a cash crop. But we've also got a grain bin over there we're going to go ahead and use. We've already got some wheat in there. So we'll be all set. We'll be able to offload real quick from the harvester to the grain bin. This is going to hold just about the whole load. Got a little bit left over, so we'll put that in at a later point. What I found that works great is you can basically get this thing running in the morning, come back to it around midday like we are today, and then come back to it around late afternoon and put a third load of product in there and just let it run. Seems to work out really, really good for us. I think what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to get our Holmer. Got to load it up with digestate here. Already got a supply tank up between the two fields that we're going to make use of. There's the big old thing. Got a big old tank on the back. Got this grip applicator. We're going to go ahead and open up the doors here. There's our big Krone, big X 1180. Big old harvester header, chopper header. Got another trailer, so we've got two trailers. We've got the big old Krone there. We've got this thing. Slowly getting her equipped. Here. Got nice big flotation tires on this thing. We won't have to worry about compacting the soil too much, especially in the moist soil. 3,000 pounds almost. And pull up here to our supply tanks. Load this thing up with digestate. And let's head on over the field. A little curious to see what this thing weighs loaded. $55,000, $56,000 pounds. £6,000. Hey, what we don't need a car pulling out in front of us with this thing loaded. That would probably not turn out too well for the vehicle and the driver. And tomorrow we're going to actually, tomorrow we've got lined up for a big double-decker, I think, cattle trailer to come in here. Help us haul off our beef cattle. Market, I think we've got 55 now. Sure we started with 50. We had, I guess, 5 male Holsteins, halves, last year. We're not going to sell those. We're going to keep those for another full year, let them plump up. We are going to get rid of the 50 Fowler cows we've got. We're basically going to wait a little bit before we buy some more. Still debating if we're going to get rid of those pigs yet. They are eating quite a much food. But at this point in time, we're not having that big of a problem keeping them fed. I suspect at some point they will be eating us out of house and home compared to what their actual value is going to be worth. But we still need to kind of do that calculation as far as price per pound versus how much food they're eating per day. Basically try to see if we think maybe they're going to hold out their weight, hold out their value. Got a whole heap of pre-compost over there. Daryl was over here earlier compacting it. He had a fair bit of work left to go. Probably another good half day working on that. This is the lower field that we've bought. Then it connects up to the upper field. There you can see the grain bin, and you can just barely make out our semi and a black kind of trailer tanker. That's the tanker we're going to use to resupply this Holmer. Thing isn't near as wide as our Samson slurry spreader. From what I understand, it gets around pretty darn good because it does have four-wheel steer. Alright, off we go. I can't remember, did I get this thing with... I got this thing with GPS. I was like, I thought for sure I would buy this thing with GPS. And it costs so much money. Like, pretty darn sure I paid the extra. This thing with GPS. This some kind of fall respiration off or something going on. There's a supply taker. There's a grain bin. It still has some wheat in it. I don't know if we're gonna empty that out before we harvest next year or not. Thing makes really good turns. Definitely agree with the Germans on that. Thing is very, very good as far as getting around in the field. Could have got a cultivation option. It only cultivates a pretty narrow width. Felt that even though we could have cultivated and done our digestate work all in one pass, I think it's just as fast, if not faster, to use our large discs on this field, on these fields, and then basically apply our digestate with the truck here. Well, I'm going to call it a truck. I don't know what you call this thing. Kind of a truck tractor hybrid, I guess. It kind of has the top speed of a tractor. Has some pretty good maneuverability. You can get it with different modules that you can put on the back. Looks like it's only going to take a few trips before we empty this thing up. And I don't quite think that this GPS is lining quite upright, but anyway. Alright, let's go fill up. Hopefully we won't have to, hopefully we'll get more than one load out of that trailer. It doesn't look like that long of a trailer. I think the diameter of the tanker is a bit bigger. me get this thing lined up here, or do I have to reposition? There we go. And at the fill gauge, it looks like maybe we're going to be able to get two refills out of this thing. Off we go. We engage a GPS here on this end of the course. Off our applicators and dribble bar, whatever you want to call this thing. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and empty out the tank. So we'll fill up, basically we'll empty out our supply tanker. We'll get Daryl to help us work in the field, and then we're going to grab our semi and head back to the PGA to reload. Try to keep this thing operational. This time we got 2 passes and a little bit. We should have just a little bit more after this pass. It'll take quite a bit of digestate to get both of these fields taken care of. We used up all of our slurry working our other fields, so either this or the paid product. I'm inclined to use this as much as possible. Tell me we should get about 20% more. 20% more of a yield off of these 2 fields next year as a result of putting this digestate on here. Sounded great to me. And this field I think had cotton and soybeans. And consulting the Farmer's Almanac said that a grain crop, a cereal crop, was best to follow up. Field that had cotton and soybeans in it. And then looking back at the other field, farmer told me that he put soybeans in that field for the last 2 years. And again, it looks like maybe cereal crop, wheat, is going to be a good bet for this field up here also. Like I said, we're going to put wheat in both of these fields. Conveniently, it's right by the cow farm, which is where we're going to make use of the straw. And we're going to be able to put our wheat here in this bin. And lined up here. Go. Wrong button. Oh my gosh, wrong button. Really had a disaster. First time out in the field with this thing and nearly had a total disaster. Get this thing going again. Like I said, Daryl's gonna finish this for us, at least in the Holmer, and I think we're just going to run the supply tanker the rest of the day. Get out of his way. It's raining. Hopefully it won't rain hard. Hopefully we'll just have a light rain. Won't affect us out here in the field with those big old tires. Hopefully it won't rut up the field too terrible much or cause too much of a floppy mess. Again, we also don't want the rain to cause our digestate to run off the field. So we don't need that happening. See how he gets on. Already turned around, making his other pass. This thing is really maneuverable. We're going to use our Samson up applicator. Same thing we use for a slurry. We'd have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 times longer driving and trying to get turned around at the end of the field. That thing seems to be a really good investment. Really glad we got that. Of course, we've got traffic. He's just going to have to sit there and wait on us, I guess. Daryl's still out there in the field, disking it up too. Now he's going to keep an eye on the dirt and make sure it doesn't get too wet and start clumping up and those discs digging down in the ground too far. Definitely don't need to get that old Steiger stuck. Not be a very good day. Kind of looks like he might be toward the end. that one field. So I'm sure he's just trying to get that one field done. Then he can take it into the farm. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and put this down here. Like I said, we've got a lot of work to do left today. 1:30 in the afternoon almost, and well, all this rain doesn't set in, I'll be making a whole lot of trips back and forth, PGA. Come in this side this time. Guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think of our Emerald Coast series? What do you think of the PGA we built out here? And now we're kind of trying to add it into the whole pseudo roleplay that we're doing. Coming up to the end of year 5. 4 more years to go in order to achieve a kind of a 10-year gameplay spread across 2 game versions. Taking it nice and easy. 12-day seasons. £84,000 this load. Alright guys, so until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.